Hi, good morning, and today we have a Chef Melissa here, a good friend of mine, and so it's kind of like a welcome to fall theme today, trying to use up some of the tomatoes from the garden, some onions, some fresh basil. I noticed this morning the weather has really changed, cool and a little bit breezy.
Crispy.
Right, so Melissa and I have done some cooking classes together, and she's just going to be the teacher today and show me some stuff, and we're just going to have a good time. So, okay, what would you like me to do?
Okay, so first we want to core and quarter the tomatoes. So take the little stem core out. I forgot you're a lefty.
Yes. Everything goes the opposite way.
She's opposite.
There you go.
Okay, and then just go ahead and
put them in there.
Toss them in here.
And the yellow tomatoes from the garden.
Absolutely. Yellow tomatoes are just the same as red. They're just yellow.
Okay.
But they taste exactly the same. That's perfect. And I see you're watching your fingers, so no cuts.
Yeah, keeping everything on the outside.
All right, so then we're going to drizzle these with a little bit of olive oil.
Okay. Okay.
We're going to season them with kosher salt.
And how much kosher salt and how much olive oil are you putting in?
About a quarter cup of olive oil and about a teaspoon and a half of salt.
And this is about 5 pounds of tomatoes.
This is about 5 pounds of tomatoes. And then I'm going to sprinkle a little black pepper in there, just about a quarter teaspoon, and we want to toss them. So you can use a big spoon, or if you just want to get it all dirty, you can get in there with your hands.
Awesome. Now see, I don't eat fresh tomatoes, but I love the soup. It's awesome.
Oh, absolutely.
As long as they're cooked, then I'm good.
All right. Then we're going to put them into a roasting pan. And we're going to roast this in about a 400-degree oven for about 20-25 minutes until they start to turn golden brown. And I just realized I forgot the garlic.
And so you have how much garlic in there?
About 6 cloves of garlic. You want to sprinkle that on top so that it roasts with the tomatoes. And then I'll go stick this in the oven.
Awesome.
And I'll be right back.
Okay, perfect.
So our next step for our soup would be to sweat some onions. So you want to get a nice Dutch oven style pot, nice big soup pot, and you want to heat that up over about medium.
Okay. There we go. I think it's good.
Okay. We're going to add about 2 tablespoons of olive oil.
Awesome.
And a cup of finely diced onions.
Oh, man. That's what I'm talking about. Awesome.
And go ahead and sweat those.
Okay.
Those are going to cook until they just turn a little transparent.
Okay.
Not brown, so you're going to want to do it gently and keep stirring. It takes about 10 minutes.
So we'll just turn it on high.
Maybe while you're doing that, I can show how to dice
do that.
onion.
That's great, because some people don't realize how to do an onion.
So you want to be very safe when you're chopping with anything. You want to make sure your fingers are away from your knife blade. I like to pick a knife that is comfortable to hold, and I always pinch the back and put my fingers behind this little guard here. And with my half onion, with the stable side down, I'm going to curl my fingers up and I'm going to slice into it like so, sawing kind of back and forth.
It's funny because everybody has a different way of cutting an onion.
Right. I've seen a lot of people do this, and to me that's dangerous because you could get your fingers.
Right.
But I know where my fingers are and I know where my knife is. So the next step you want to do is lay your knife up against your knuckles and make sure your fingertips are curled back. And you're just going to slice into it this way, kind of with the grains of the onion. And then we're going to turn it sideways like this. Again, we're going to make sure our pinky...
this is your guide.
This is my guide.
Okay.
So my pinky and my thumb are behind my other fingers and holding on to the onion. And my knife blade is up against, the top of my knife blade is up against one of my knuckles, and all my fingers, so it's a claw, basically.
Okay, perfect.
Okay?
Perfect.
And slice.
And then you get consistent pieces, too.
You get nice, consistent pieces. Your fingers are safe because you know where your knife is at all times. And your food will cook evenly. Now, as you get back to this little root end, or the back of the onion, you end up with something that looks like that.
Mm-hmm.
I just cut this little core out like this. Get rid of it. And I just take it and chop it along the side.
Awesome.
There you go. And if it's too big, you can always run your knife through this way and chop it finer. But this looks good.
And part of it is too having a comfortable knife.
Having a good sharp knife and practicing. Practice. At first it will be kind of slow and it'll feel cumbersome with your hand, but if you practice, it translates pretty much to anything that you do with a knife. So I'm going to go get rid of this onion.
Okay, very good. And our onions are looking really well, really good. Starting to look a little translucent. So it looks like
those onions look great. So now it's ready to add our roasted tomatoes.
Okay.
I just poured it into this little pitcher so it would be easier for us to pour into the pot.
Oh my gosh.
Very carefully. You'll also want to add about 2 cups of chicken broth. This is a low sodium chicken broth.
Okay.
During the winter I make lots of homemade chicken broth,
Right.
and that's a good alternative as well. There you go. About 2 teaspoons of sugar. And we're going to let that
So it's
simmer.
really low fat.
It is. It's
Very
actually
low
very
fat.
low fat. Now, you could, at the end, add a little cream for some richness.
Yeah.
But if you want to kind of keep it lean, then I would go with this.
Okay.
So that's going to simmer for about 10 minutes.
Okay.
And while that simmers, why don't we get our sandwiches ready?
Oh, perfect. Let's do that. Oh, yeah. Good time of year for fresh mozzarella, for sure.
Absolutely. So what I have here, Teresa, is I went to my local shop, in the bake shop, and they have this beautiful bread called pugliese, which is a hard, crusty Italian type bread. I asked them to slice it for me, so they slice it in a machine that gives me nice even slices. And I'm going to take 2 really beautiful slices of bread, and I always make sure they're matched up.
Right.
I'm a little anal that way.
And it's got a lot of flavor, too, this bread.
Oh, absolutely.
Wonderful.
And I'm going to go ahead and use some nice soft butter and butter both sides of my bread.
There's nothing like butter, for sure.
No.
Yep.
Is that simmering?
Yep. It
Oh,
looks
good.
great. It looks great.
Yep, it just got to simmer down. Okay, inside I'm going to add a nice little, maybe, teaspoon of pesto. And then I have fresh mozzarella cheese that I sliced into little slices. I'm just going to add that in there.
Wow.
And then we're going to grill that as soon as that soup is
Okay.
ready. And it looks like maybe we should taste it.
It looks like lunchtime right now.
I know.
Oh,
Shall we taste?
I'm thinking.
Let's see if it has enough salt. I think a titch more salt.
A little bit more salt and maybe just a little more
black
pepper. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so about put about a
pepper
half
gives such
teaspoon.
good
I know
flavor.
it does. And I'm going to go a little heavy pinch on the black pepper.
Awesome.
And we'll try that again. Ooh, that's good. You know, you can also add it if you want
Oh,
a little tiny bit of cayenne pepper.
Yeah, a
Will
little
make
bit
it
of-
kind of give a little kick. So now
That'd
what
be
we want to
awesome.
do with that is puree it. And I have this cool little gadget here. I'm not exactly sure what it's called.
They're awesome.
But it's like a little wand, and it
Immersion
has
blender.
an immersion blender.
Immersion
Thanks. And it's got a blade on the end, and we're going to just stick that right in the pie. I'll plug it in, and go ahead and there you go. We're going to puree the whole thing.
I might splash, but
Oh, my
that's
goodness.
okay. We'll get there.
I kind of like to hold it on the bottom,
Okay.
and it kind of sucks everything in. That looks great, Teresa. That's probably
that's pretty
wonderful.
Good.
Okay.
That's pretty good. If you want to, yep, let's do that. And then, oh, wow. That's just beautiful.
And you know, we used the seeds and the skin, and I'm just going to check one more time.
See how
I'm looking at the consistency, and it's really nice.
And if you add cream, that will actually thicken it up a little bit.
It will.
So, and I like to also serve it with a little sour cream.
Oh yeah, you can put a little sour cream in there too.
Very good. Oh, that's perfect.
Absolutely.
So let's just turn that down.
We can actually take this
Take it off.
and set it aside, and we'll
Okay.
go ahead and start our grilled cheese sandwiches. I'm going to put this
There you
one
go.
in. We're going to turn this way down.
Okay.
So we want it on low.
Okay.
And we're just going to toast the bread. And
I'll
while
get rid
that's
of these.
toasting, I will go ahead and make another one.
Very good.
I think this is the perfect fall, cold
Very
evening,
good. Yep.
before Halloween.
And we've had such warm days for so long.
We have.
And now finally,
It's cool enough to have
enough
this.
yeah. To justify being in the house cooking and baking again, for sure.
Exactly. And you know, if you have this soup left over, it does freeze great too.
Yeah, that's
Just make
awesome.
sure you cool it down and before you put it in the freezer.
Wow, what is not good about that?
There we go.
Awesome.
So,
Very good. So I think we should probably plate up.
oh
What do you
yes,
think? Should we
absolutely.
get some of the tomato soup in a bowl and how about a little sour cream or no? Let's just do it with
Oh, and we're going to make the basil garnish
Perfect.
too.
There
So
you
let's
go.
plate the soup.
And we have a ladle, so we'll get the ladle and yeah, awesome. Got that? Oh,
To take a nice, generous portion. All right, there we go. And I always like to top this with a little bit of fresh basil
Okay.
and little strips.
oh, okay, very good.
So I'm going to show you because I didn't make any ahead of time. This is called a chiffonade, and it's a very, very, very thin slice of basil, and they come out very long, and they're just delicious, and they're very pretty to look
And
at.
sometimes, you know, I used to cut basil and I just kind of throw it in and chop it, and then I think 2 or 3 years ago you showed me how to do this, and it was like, what a nifty little trick.
So what I've done is I've stacked all the basil leaves up.
Okay.
This works really great if you have a big basil leaf to put on the bottom.
Right.
But if you don't, that's okay too. But we're going to stack them up, and then we're going to kind of roll them into like you would a jelly roll. Kind
Okay.
of roll it onto itself up in a little tube. And then I'm going to take my knife, and I'm going to make very, very thin diagonal cuts. You can
Wow.
do this with any herb.
Looks nice.
Basil comes out the prettiest, but you end up with this very pretty.
Wow. And it doesn't turn it brown like it sometimes does.
No, it doesn't turn brown. Great, more. There we go.
Nothing wrong with that. That's beautiful.
So are they ready
Your
to turn?
sandwiches are getting ready, and I'm going to grab a spoon.
So I've got a nice brown toasted side on these. The cheese is melting
Oh, wonderful.
in there. I'm going to turn this down just a hair.
Wow. And
Now, Teresa, if you wanted to do this like panini style, you could take something hot and heavy and stick it on
very
top,
good.
and it would squish them together and kind of make it all kind of melt together like a panini sandwich.
awesome. And I will go grab a plate for you for those.
Okay, perfect. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's perfect. Because look. Put that down.
Down there.
Oh, no, that's a little big. Okay.
Get these put in here. Oh, I just love the smell of basil. It's awesome.
And we can cut them in half. I always cut on a diagonal. And then I like to break them apart like that.
Oh, very good. It'd be great for like a brunch snack or something.
Absolutely,
too.
yes. Totally.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Have a bite?
Yep.
There we go. I like to dip
Dip.
in the soup.
Oh, yum.
Mmm.
Very good.
Perfect.
Awesome.
You have some.
And I'll have a taste of the soup. Wonderful. What
Yes.
better way to spend a nice fall day than
I can't think of another.
Nope. It's awesome. Great. Awesome. Well, thanks for being here. I look forward to the next time we can cook together and have fun
Sounds good.
and figure out what we can do for the holidays and maybe
yeah.
late fall.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Awesome.
All right.
Thank you. Hometown Cooking with Teresa and her guest Melissa. And thank you for joining us and look forward to seeing you the next time.